What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. You know, I was thinking as I was sitting here pouring my coffee that I made with a coffee maker that has an app so that I can schedule it in the morning and control the brew into a coffee cup that like Bluetooths to my phone to keep my coffee hot. I was thinking about this whole thing, about the whole digital versus analog thing. Recording on a digital camera with a wireless microphone. You know what I mean? I was doing these videos the other day. I was working with this new Boss plug out thing right here. And, you know, on this channel, if you've seen any of our stuff, you'll know that I use a Kemper player. I really like the Positive Grid stuff. I really like my Princeton Tone Master. So, you know, a lot of digital products. And the whole coffee pot thing and the whole coffee cup thing, and thinking about the fact that I have, you know, I made a members only video this morning, just kind of talking about this whole idea of digital versus analog and where we are, and the fact that you just kind of have to deal with the fact that there's a lot of digital stuff. Now you can make a choice to not do it, not use it, but it's getting harder to escape, right? But the problem is that when we play guitar, a lot of times, we're trying to escape, right? Like that's the whole reason. So we might not want that digital stuff. So I'll show you where I go with kind of digital versus analog and why I really care about the guitars I care about and the sound that I care about. So for me, it's about the interface. For me, it's about, you know, I can use a Princeton Tone Master. I can use a Kemper. I've got that little Positive Grid down there that I practice with. And I like all that stuff. And I like the exploration of the digital side of it. I think it's fun and the convenience of it, right? But when it really comes down to it for this hobby for me, for guitar playing, it's all about the interface with the instrument that I really care about. And so if you look at my guitar choices, they tend to be super vintage inspired. So obviously Les Paul Jr. is a thing you all know if you follow the channel at all. That's got my P90 in it. It's like one of my favorite guitars ever. And that's my favorite pickup, is a P90. And then I know this is not a vintage guitar, obviously. But honestly, it's kind of why I like relic guitars, because I want them to feel old, even though I'm not old. Like I don't want to play guitar for 70 years to get there, so I just kind of buy it like that, and I really, really like it. And then of course, this isn't a vintage guitar or vintage inspired really, but it's the standard, right? It's a Les Paul is kind of, it's a Les Paul, you know? So I kind of default, no matter the other technology that I use in the hobby, to a guitar that is vintage inspired and vintage sounding. And for those of you that know what we do for a living here, we make pickups. That's what we do at DylanTalksTone. That's our real job, right? We make YouTube videos to talk about guitar stuff, but our real job is pickups. And so when we come up with an idea for a real pickup, I want it to be, it's honestly vintage inspired. In fact, if you go on the website, you'll see our little slogan is DylanTalksTone, the new vintage. Because we can take super vintage inspired stuff, like Telecaster stuff, but then bring it into the 21st century with some cool designs, you know, that's got a 1/4-inch magnet in it, it's a little different wind, kind of fun. This is one of our Enduro pickups that we've sort of updated with a really wild design. This is, you know, because we can have all these different acrylics and different cool colors and whatever. And then, of course, we can take our most vintage winds and we can make them pretty because we have a laser. So we have fun stuff we can do. This is actually the bobbin for a humbucker sized P90 that I kind of re-engineered, and I have the bobbin 3D printed, part of the bobbin 3D printed by a friend of mine. So we're taking 21st century technology and applying it, you know, to a very old technology, which is super fun. So the end result for me is an analog guitar, like, and the interaction that you have with the guitar, to me, is what the guitar was intended to be, right? Like this, for me personally. Now I know that there's other opinions on this, and a lot of people like a lot more modern stuff. And, you know, modern sounding pickups and everything, they have their place, but sometimes you just really want that old school feel and sound, right? And so that's where a lot of our inspiration here at DylanTalksTone comes from. These new pickups that we're releasing right now are kind of an example of that. One of the things we talked about in this members video today was that younger folks might like a different kind of music. Well, when I went to ask my daughter Brianna, like, what is your favorite guitar tone that you like in any guitar song ever, she said Ted Nugent Stranglehold, like right off the top of her head. And I was like, well, hey, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool vintage sound. Now, am I going to get that exact vintage sound today, showing you with these pickups? Probably not, because the amp combination and stuff's all different. But when I really looked into, hey buddy, hi. When I really looked into what makes that, there's some pretty unique things about his guitars specifically, the years that he was playing. And it was a combination that I never really thought of before in that context. And it was, he played a Gibson Birdland, which for this particular guitar model, which these are available on the website. That's not what we're here to talk about today. These are available on the website, but the inspiration was, you know, this whole Florentine cutaway kind of thing, like the Ted Nugent kind of thing, Birdland thing, but smaller, you know, thinner. But the pickup thing was basically like a PAF, but there were some years of those guitars where they had an Alnico 2 in the neck and an Alnico 5 in the bridge. And that's a combination that we'd never actually done before. I'd never actually made. So our DAF comes as an Alnico 5. And I'd never really made the A2 or A3 stuff in the Alnico, or in the DAF stuff before. And I was like, I want to put a combination of that in that guitar, this guitar, and see what it sounds like. And it's super fun. And it takes you back to this very basic tone time, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not going to use any pedals. We are playing into a Tone Master because it's what I have, but it's a Fender sounding amp. And what I'm going to do is, all of the knobs are on 7, including the volume. There's no master volume on a Princeton. So all the knobs are on 7, all the tone, everything, except for the reverb's like 2.5 or 3. So here we go. So this is, like, to me, stripped down, bare bones as it gets. And these pickups do things that are so fun. There's that kind of flubby, mushy low end that the Fender has. Okay, before we get into what we just heard there, I want to kind of set a couple of expectations and fundamentals here. A lot of times when people watch demos on YouTube, they'll hear something and be like, well, I don't like that tone. That's not how I would use it, etc., etc. So what we want to do when we look at a demo that we make here at DylanTalksTone, if I don't care how you watch YouTube, it's totally fine. But when you watch our stuff, what I hope that you would do is sort of dive into the fundamentals of what the pickup is doing, and then realize that you can apply those to your rig. So whatever amp you're using, whatever guitar you're putting them in, you know, whether it's a semi-hollow like this or a solid body or whatever, the pickups will always do the same thing. So the fundamentals of what they're doing is what we want to look at here, okay? I've never thought about saying it quite like that, but I wanted to mention that today because these are just at such a base level, like a awesome baseline of where a lot of other guitar tones could come from for a few reasons. So let's go back through a couple of these sounds. Let's look first of all at our neck pickup, because the neck pickup oftentimes on a guitar, especially with a humbucker, can be a little problematic. So we have lots of clarity there, okay? That's the amp cranked, that's the volume knob cranked. This is actually very broken up. Okay, what we're looking at there is, we're looking at what the fundamentals of the notes are doing. So when we strike a note, it blooms up nice. The initial pick attack is strong and variable depending on how our hand works. So we could go like this. It's very reactive, right? It never loses clarity no matter how much the amp breaks up. So we could put go grab that other pedal and throw a bunch of distortion on top of it. It'll still maintain that underlying clarity on every note, right? And then the other thing is, as broken up as we are here, it's very pick sensitive, so that when we pick softly, just by our pick attack action, it cleans up. Now, let's turn our volume down to about 6. Clarity is still there. We have no volume mod or anything like that on this guitar. It's just straight volume and tone. The clarity is still there. It's not muddy. It cleans up real nice. You can use the volume all the way down to probably about 3. Right? That's just the neck pickup. Those aspects will show through a very good vintage style wind all the way through any amp you put them in, any guitar you put them in. The fundamentals of that pickup will be there. That's what I love. Doesn't matter what amp you use, doesn't matter. We get this question all the time. Do you have to design pickups differently for digital amps versus analog amps, things like that? No, because the pickup is the start of it all, right? Let's move on to the bridge pickup, which this is fun. Separate volume knob. Okay, we're looking at the same thing here. No matter what gain we put to this thing, See there, same thing. Really variable pick attack, very sensitive to what the pick is doing. Cleans up real nice if we're picking softly. Being able to do that, super cool. Now, use our volume knob. Bring it back down to about 6. To me, that is just perfect. Now, these pickups were hand wound by Brianna here in the shop. Everything we make here at DylanTalksTone in Georgia, in the United States. Some of our stuff is kind of next level, and I really feel like this pickup set is that. This is the new Valkyrie set of humbuckers. It comes as a set. You can get, if you already have one of our DAF bridge pickups, you can buy the neck pickup to match it. Okay, but I would recommend that you buy them as a set. Now this is a special edition set that we're only making, I think, 10 sets of these. These are only a special edition set. They come with some extra stuff. These are not out yet. You know what? We'll release these today too. So we're going to do a special edition numbered set that is this engraving and stuff and all the fun things surrounding it. But then we're going to also have another production set that's going to be a little bit cheaper. And those are going to be available on the website as a neck and a bridge set. Alnico 2 DAF style, Alnico 5 DAF style, completely hand wound, no CNC machine involved. And that whole thing, that whole idea of what we do here is really encapsulated in these pickups, and I'm just really, really proud of the design. So they are available on the website now. You can go in the link in the description or the pinned comment and see that link, and you can buy these pickups, either the short run ones or the production ones. They're wound exactly the same, just the appearance is different. And then also, if you want to buy the whole guitar that it comes in, this particular guitar is available, as well as a production version. This is like a hand-built version. Then there's also a production version of this guitar that is available as well. So you can buy one pickup, two pickups, two special pickups, this guitar, or your own. You do whatever you want. But I just think it's fun to sit. I was really thinking about this morning. Like, this is just it, man. This, no matter what digital stuff, no matter how you drink your coffee, no matter how you play your guitar, this feeling right here. There's just something about that underneath everything. And if you have that kind of fundamental analog, like, I don't know, ethos about how we make stuff, it just really, really makes me happy. And I really, really like it. So let me know what you think in the comments. First of all, do you like the pickups? Do you like the guitar? Second of all, where do you stand on this? Are you like zero digital? I get it if you are. Are you kind of like me, sort of halfway in between, where you want the guitar to still be that thing and the pickups to really be that thing that makes us all start playing guitar? Or are you just on a constant exploration of the next, newest, coolest digital thing? Where does the technology take us? Because part of me goes there too. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you in the next video.